we'll just get right into it. Carlos Prates was originally supposed to fight Jeff Neal on the last pay-per-view. Jeff Neal pulls out. Ian Garry says, I'll step in. He fought on short notice against Shavkat. He'll fight on short notice again. So they move it over to this event to give, I think, 25 days for Ian Garry or something to get ready. Something like that. Very important matchup in this one. This is one of those fights where both these guys are on the come up. Both these guys look very good, despite how you might feel about them. I know Ian Garry's got a lot of haters out there. And meanwhile, Carlos Prates has a ton of fans. But, they're both on the come up. They're both highly skilled. This is one of those matchups where we probably or very well could see this again down the line, just because they're so young in their UFC careers. I guess Ian Garry's kind of been a mainstay a little bit, but he's now coming into his own at the top of the division. Even though he dropped the fight to Shavkat, he was on short notice, and Shavkat's a beast. That being said, this is a fun stylistic matchup. Both these guys are dangerous with their hands, dangerous with their strikes. I would say going into this, everybody kind of probably knew Ian Garry's a little bit more complete than Carlos Prates, what with the grappling and things like that. But going into this, Carlos Prates has just been smoking everybody, smoking cigarettes, smoking fighters. Ian Garry's, I don't know, he hasn't had that show-stopping performance. Even when he gets the big wins, there's always some weird little caveat, like he got dropped against what's his name? I can't remember. And then he loses to he has a boring fight with MVP. He loses to Shavkat. He hasn't had that shutout performance yet, like Carlos Prates has been doing. But man, did he look good in this one. So good. Look, Austin says, look, it wasn't an awful fight, but Ian Garry is low-key boring and never delivers on his fights compared to how he talks about himself. That's kind of what I was alluding to. You can't act like you're the best world beater around and do that. Look, that being, I understand your point there, Austin, but I will say, I was very impressed with this one, actually. This was Ian Garry showcasing how good he really is. He maybe didn't get a destroyer finish or anything like that, but for the first 4 rounds, well, I'll say that for the first 19 minutes of this fight, he looked, I thought, phenomenal. He's fighting on the outside extremely well. If you want to learn how to fight on the outside, watch this fight from Ian Garry. Every single time Carlos Prates is walking forward. Ian Garry's doing a good job of mixing up his exits. He's not just every time he gets cornered, he circles off to his right or anything like that. Or he's not I think Israel Adesanya did a good job of that, where he would fake left, fake right, and then circle out left. And then the next time you got him cornered, he'd fake left. And then instead of faking right, he'd actually exit right. Or he'd fake left, fake right, and then explode at you. You have to vary up your exits against someone like Carlos Prates, who is going to pin you up against the fence. And that's usually where he gets his finishes. If you watch Carlos Prates, he'll back people up against the fence, and then he'll feint at them and get them to react. And once they react how he wants them to, he'll snipe them. And he's good at it. He's very dangerous. And shout out to Ghost. Thanks for joining. What up, Will? Despite all the nonsense surrounding Garry, I thought his lead hand fight was really good. Good performance by Garry, but terrible fight since he couldn't actually hurt Prates. And yeah, I guess that's kind of where you're the in-between of me and Austin here in the chat, where, yeah, you can appreciate the skill set and the performance from Ian Garry, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's exciting. I just thought he did such a good job of, anytime Carlos Prates would walk him down and then get set, as soon as he would get set, he'd feint, because Carlos Prates is a very good feinter. But if you're known for being a good feinter, your opponent, if they're good, can kind of exploit that a little bit. And before Prates could even really capitalize on his feints, Ian Garry would stab him at his feints and say, almost like, okay, we know once he settles, he's going to feint and then he's going to go. I can disrupt that. And every time he gets set, when he feints, I can pull the trigger and catch him on a feint, and then I can exit. And I thought for most of 4 rounds, it was a masterclass from Ian Garry. Like I said, mixing up his exits. He wasn't, when he was attacking his disrupting his rhythm and stopping him from getting set so that he could strike. He wasn't just doing it with a jab every time. It could be the jab, it could be the cross, it could be the right high kick, it could be shooting for a takedown. if you're Carlos Prates, every time you get set, you're getting disrupted, but you're not just getting disrupted by the same thing. So you don't know, okay, I'm going to get set here. I know he's going to jab me. I know he's going to throw that right kick. I can counter that. No, every time he got set, it was something different coming back at him. And a lot of people are going to talk about the gas tank, and we will towards the end of this fight, but that's exhausting. You're constantly walking someone down, and every time you're like, okay, now I'm going to go, and you get hit with something that you didn't see coming, and you have to reset, and you got to walk him down again. You got to chase him down. Like that is tiring, especially if you are a guy who hasn't gone 5 rounds in years and never in the UFC. Uh, is I thought it was a very good fight from Ian Garry. This was a masterclass for those first 4 rounds, especially considering the short notice opponent. Um, the last 6 minutes of this fight were a little different. At the end of the fourth round, Ian Garry's takedown attempts are becoming much more labored, and I thought Carlos Prates did a very good job defending most of the takedowns. Ian Garry would go for that single leg. He'd reach around and frame off of him and just kind of shove him down. Very good takedown defense, good hips from Carlos Prates on the takedown exchange or takedown defense. But towards the last end of the fourth round, he caught Ian Garry and made him stumble a little bit, and it looked like, oh, Ian Garry might find himself. This might be a momentum change. A little too late, probably, but a momentum change regardless. And then I was like, I don't know, maybe wishful thinking, because I was rooting for Carlos Prates in this one. But then the fifth round started, and Ian Garry's on his bike. He's shooting for these takedowns a lot further out now. He's not even getting past that initial defense from Carlos Prates like he was before. Now he's just getting stuck on him like he's hitting a wall. And Carlos Prates is tagging him and hurting him. And with a minute 20 left, minute 30 left, last 90 seconds of the fight, he's got Ian Garry hurt bad. And Ian is flopping on the ground. Prates is on top. He hits him with 2 shots, and he's out for a second. You can see him basically go out. And a lot of people are shitting on Carlos Prates for not being able to finish the fight at the end there. And I think I just want to give credit, despite everything in me, I want to give credit to Ian Garry, because while he was hurt and while it looked like the lights went out a couple times actually from the ground and pound, everybody's saying, Carlos Prates, why just throw hammer fist here? Just more ground and pound here, you would have finished it. I thought Ian Garry was the one negating that. A lot of people were shitting on Prates for not doing it and not throwing, but I thought it was more Ian Garry preventing him from doing so, and not necessarily just Prates not throwing. And look, he was probably gassed because he spent the whole fight counter grappling, chasing someone down, getting your rhythm disrupted, missing, things like that, and getting hit. Ian Garry pieced him up a couple times. He's never been 5 rounds in the UFC. There's a lot of things at play here. It's the cardio is not so great at the end of the fight here for Carlos Prates, but also, first off, he's not a ground and pound fighter, right? That's not his bread and butter. He's got him hurt. He's got him almost out. But Ian Garry off his back or his knees, whatever you want to say, he's doing a very good job of moving, very, very good job of framing off with his hands, preventing shots from coming down, tangling him up with his legs, doing a very good job of just making sure, just like he was disrupting him on the feet, he's disrupting his top game here, and just really making it so Prates can't get a base and a solid base to start throwing ground and pound. And when he was getting a shot off, look, it's only 1 or 2 because he's now off balance, because Ian Garry's doing something. He's engaging his legs. He's doing something to make sure that Prates can't just anchor down and start unloading with some hands. I thought even while he was hurt, it's a bad look. It looked horrible with him crawling away from him and shit like that. But he fought very well. He was very effective at preventing Prates from doing what everybody was screaming at the TV for him to do. I don't want people to knock Prates in this one. I think Ian Garry just fought extremely well, especially considering it was short notice. The other thing I wanted to highlight too, earlier in the fight, Prates is high guard, heavy, and Ian Garry would throw that overhand. Overhand causes you to lean. You're leaning into that uppercut, and that uppercut was splitting the guard. There was one exchange that he really hurt Prates and had him backed all the way up against the fence across the cage. I just thought it was a very good performance from Ian Garry. He did a good job of negating the left kick from Prates, which is something that Prates wants to throw as a southpaw. Which is very good. Very good fight from Ian Garry. Outside of that last minute and a half and maybe the whole end of the fourth throughout the rest of the fifth, he looked very good. And Austin says, "Is there a chance under one scoring system this would have swayed the fight in his favor?" I think it was close enough that yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, if you score the fight as a whole like they do in one, you could. I think there's an argument to be made that he. I mean, that was the most significant moment of the fight. Was that fifth round? The last 90 seconds or so was basically survival mode from Ian Garry, and that's not nothing. But that being said, the first 4 rounds, I thought Ian Garry did great work. I thought he did a really good job. I hate to say it, I'm not a huge fan of the guy, his personality and stuff. Like you're talking about him being pretty cringe and stuff, and I'm not a huge fan of that. But he was very good. He was very good. And now he's the official backup for the title fight, Jack Della versus Bilal Muhammad, which is crazy, right? Because he just lost to Shavkat. But this is what happens when you take short notice fights and you stay active. You can kind of seize an opportunity. I don't think he fights. I think Bilal versus JDM probably happens. But he's in the mix there, and that's how you do it. You drop a big fight like that one against Shavkat. You jump in on short notice and take out a fan favorite like this. Now you're right there. Shout out Vance for joining. No kidding. Prates had him dead to rights late round 5. Didn't seem gas, and just was more interested in admiring his work. Had a whole 40 seconds to get it done. Blew it big time. I'll be honest. I disagree. And this is why I like fighting so much. It's so nuanced that like everybody can have different reads on what happened. But like I said, oh, there goes the backlight. Like I said, I thought Ian did a very good job of negating the damage and just disrupting everything, especially his base with just engaging his legs, framing off with his hands, escaping where he needed to. I rewatched that last minute and a half this morning, and I was again very impressed by Ian Garry just moving and doing something to make sure that Prates couldn't settle in and start throwing big shots. And even when he got back up against the fence and he was on his feet, if you're Ian Garry, you know if Prates is looking for the kill shot, it's a long left hand. So he feints for this way, draws that shot out from Prates, he ducks it, he's out the back door, he's back on another takedown. Like he fought well. He did a good job. Austin says Bilal kills Ian, not a debate. Yeah, well, I think he probably beats him too. I don't know about kills him, but he definitely beats him. But yeah, that's basically this fight. The Fighting Nerds, this is their first. The goalposts can't be moved anymore. For a while, it was like they're undefeated. All this stuff. Everybody in the Fighting Nerds is killing everybody. Then Bruno Brazil lost, and they're like, well, now all the male fighters at the Fighting Nerds are killing everybody, and they haven't lost. And then they're 19-0, whatever, all this stuff. Sean Silva, Bajalio, Prates. Now you can't move the goalposts anymore. This is the big one for them. This is the loss. Does it matter? Ultimately, no, it doesn't. Prates is still a fun fighter. I think stylistically, he just got completely stifled in this one. Ian Garry's a smart fighter. So, yeah, he just kind of never let Prates develop his game. And that's very important because if you don't have a plan B, game plan-wise or ability-wise, at the top of these divisions, you're just not gonna cut it. You can't just nuke everybody.
Hey everybody, Romero and Will here. Thank you for watching that short clip. Just so you know, that was a small excerpt from what we covered this last Sunday, right, Will?
Yeah, we cover the entire event every weekend. So this was just a cutout from the live stream that we did. The link to that live stream is in the description. So if you want to hear about the other fights that night, it's down below in the description. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell because we go live every Sunday to cover events. And if you do that, you'll know for next week and you can tune in and be in the chat and get featured on the show just like everybody else was on this clip.
We hope to chat with you live.